Hey there, welcome to my channel where I take you on tours of tiny and unique homes and showcase stories of people living alternatively. In this week's episode, we're gonna meet Nikki, a professional chef who's been living on the road for the last 4.5 years. Her adventurous lifestyle satisfies her desire for travel, and I think you're gonna be wowed by the inside of this beautifully detailed van, which allows for both freedom and security.
Having a small space that is unique to me, and I have in here exactly what I actually need, really brings me a lot of comfort, and I think this life has allowed me to really step into myself in a way that I don't think I ever could have had living the regular American dream.
Before we jump right into the tour with Nikki, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know every single time we publish a new video.
Will you join me? Will you roll? Make this house our tiny home.
Hi, I'm Nikki, and this is my van, Towanda. So before I got into van life, I was a chef and had been cooking in kitchens for over a decade. I just got burnt out. I wasn't doing the food that I wanted to do, and it was a lot of long hours and the pay wasn't great, and I wanted to travel. So when I met my wife, she had been on the road traveling internationally, and I was very inspired. And so 3 months later, we bought a van and then spent a year building it out, saving money, and got married and hit the road. So we purchased a van in 2018 from a towing company in Charleston, South Carolina, and it was a prisoner transit vehicle before, so we really gutted the whole thing to kind of bring back a new energy to it. And Towanda has also been through 2 builds. When COVID hit, we had some time. We came back to the Southeast and spent about 5 months at a lady's house that had been following us on socials and just really was like, I see that you're stopping and you want to rebuild. I have all the tools and I really love you guys. Feel free to come to my house. And we took her up on it. So for 5 months we spent during COVID rebuilding this whole thing and just start over to really bring in the true identity of who we were. We wanted to have that in the space. So that's why we went with reclaimed wood and a more cabiny feel. I like the idea of natural rustic elements, so I wanted to bring that into the van. And because we had the time and someone that really, wanted to help us out, we were able to really get intricate with the details of the van. So when we purchased the vehicle, the guy wanted about $8,000 for it. We were able to talk him down to $6,000. And then with that and both conversions with the reclaimed wood and having a couple of sponsors help us out with some of the features, we spent all in all about $25,000. I've been on the road 4.5 years. 3.5 of those was with my wife, so we built the van together. And about a year ago, we just decided to really recognize that we needed some space to ourselves. This life really begs for you to expand who you are, and a big thing for me was really learning about myself and maintaining my autonomy. So we decided to get separate rigs, and we are now caravanning. I think I'm closer to her. I think she's always been my best friend, and we've become so much more honest and transparent with each other. Honestly, having a small space that is unique to me, and I have in here exactly what I actually need, really brings me a lot of comfort. So this is Towanda. She's a 2004 Sprinter van. She's about 22 feet long, and I've been on the road with her for about 4.5 years. The first thing you see is the tintable, sprayable Raptor liner paint. We went with 3 different colors to kind of mimic the idea of nature, and it also helps with rust. Is part of the reason, because when we bought the van, it was quite rusty, and also helps with insulation, and if we're going down narrow roads, we have no issues with anything scratching it up, so absolutely love this. Right here, we've got all of our stickers from when we were been in national parks. When we first took off, my wife and I decided that that was going to be a big part of it, was seeing all the national parks. And so we just like the idea of having all the stickers. I think at this point we've seen 40 national parks and counting, so super excited about going and visiting all of them. So on the back is our 2 bikes. We added the bike rack and the bikes about 2 years ago, and they've been excellent. They're electric, so we're able to park anywhere in the cities and take these around. They go for about 40 miles on 1 battery life, so we're absolutely loving these. And then on the back of this, we have our ladder up to the roof deck, which was also a very important feature for me to have. I enjoy meditating, so I go up there a lot, and I love to stargaze, so that's been a great addition to the family. On the roof, we have 2 fans. I have a Max Air and a Fantastic, and that way we can oscillate the air in and out and stay nice and cool. Along with my fans, I have my solar panels. I have 600 watts of solar panels, and I can go for weeks on end. I charge also off my alternator. So with that and having full ample sun, I have no issues with power. The roof deck takes up about 1/3 of the top of the roof, and it took me one day. I built this with my cousin on the last day before we took off. I absolutely had to have it, and we just use cedar planking, and we just have vertical planks that go across and just U-bolted them in, and it's been great. Just sealed it with waterproof sealant, and I've had no issues. So on the front of the van, we wanted to paint on where we're going to be traveling. So every time we go to a new state, we just paint it in. So in about 4.5 years on the road, we've gone about 80,000 miles. We've been across the US 3 different times, and we've been across Canada 2 times, and then Baja, Mexico. She's gotten a lot of miles on her, and also another engine in Canada. So she's been through it, but she's been a trooper. I don't know if she'll make it to South America, but there's still hope for that. Also, we didn't have the emblem for the Mercedes. It got lost, so we spent some time looking for a peace sign because we like to give a little love when we're driving, and sometimes we do get it back, so love that feature as well. So now that we've seen the outside, I would love to show you the inside. I built it with my own 2 hands, and I'm very proud of her, so come on in. First thing when you walk in is my kitchen. It is the bread and butter, pun intended, of the build. I am a chef, so it was very important to me, this space, to really make it my own and make it functional. I love this part of the build. This is the door to my grandmother's spice rack, and it was kind of just sitting in the garage collecting dust. So when I was building, I was very intentional about how I wanted the space to look, so I inset it into the door that is underneath the kitchen. And that way I can remember her, and it's got all the herbs and stuff if I want to reference. And this door holds just my trash and the stuff for cleaning and my dish rack. Also very important in a van is space. Obviously it's very limited, so I want to use every single nook and cranny. So I built this junk drawer that goes around the sink on both sides. So just random stuff goes in there. Above that is a very deep sink. I cook a lot of meals, so I wanted to have enough space to do the dishes. I also have quite a lot of prep space, and went with a live edge countertop. I really like the idea of having the dark wood, the cozy cabin feel, so that's why I went with a dark stain. And then above that, I have my 2 cabinets. They have just cups and stuff like that in this one. And then I also hold all of my vitamins, tea, and coffee in the second one. So I wanted to be very intentional about details. We had the time to do it in the build, so we wanted to go with some fun little knickknacks that really personalize it. So I was very intentional about having the slate and copper throughout. You'll see quite a lot of copper. And then also the keys that hold the cabinets together, I thought were just really neat. The friend that we built it with just had them lying around, so I was like, what a cool idea. The backsplash, I also wanted to bring in kind of a spa feel. So I really like the idea of it being very cozy and very, intimate. And so I went with a Type A green natural stone that we actually did grout. So this is grouted in, and it's been great. I haven't had any issues with it for 4.5 years, and I love the look. I think it's pretty unique to any other vans that I've seen. Another little feature is this little book nook that I have. Just a couple of recipe books there. And then below that I have what loosely is called my wet bar. So anytime I want to have a couple of drinks, I keep that up here, along with my salt and pepper that's readily available. One of my favorite features of the whole van is probably what I like to call the puzzle door. So this was one of the last things we did in the build. My wife actually wood burned the tree on here, and then I actually scroll sawed the door so it opens like a puzzle. And this just holds some of my sweatshirts and winter clothes that I'm not using, and towels and such. It just comes back together like this. It was very important for me to separate the cab from the house because I wanted to keep it very cozy. So I went with a full partition, and then wanted to have a mirror so that it actually helps extend the space. It makes it look bigger, and also can look at myself every now and then. And then right here we have this partition wall that my wife did. We love it. So she just took scrap wood and made a mountainscape, and then below that we just wanted to go with some tiles. When I had my dog in here, we had the water bowl there, so any spillage could be easily cleaned up. Below the counter is my fridge freezer. It's a Dometic 12 volt, and so it doesn't take up a lot of power. It runs constantly on low battery, and I can fit tons of food in here. Like I said, I cook constantly, so it was very important for me to go with this vertical fridge. I had a top load and I just wasn't really feeling it, so this has been great for me. This is the full-length ceiling-to-floor pantry. I keep a lot of different flours and vinegars and salts, so that was very important for me to have. So I'm able to store all of my produce and seasonings in there, and then below I have more of my flours and my Vitamix blender, which was probably the most important thing I brought on the trip. And so that's why it's as wide as it is, because I need to be able to fit the base. And so I kind of built it around that. So, but it's been great. On the other side of the kitchen is where I cook. I have my Dometic 3-range burner and oven combo. So this was added about 2 years into the build, and it was vital for me. I was not able to bake, and I love to cook and make pizzas. And then below keeps all of my pots and pans, my rice steamer, and my tortilla press and things of that nature. Over here is more counter space, and when I need extra, I can just pull up this extra flip-up table, which I kind of go overboard, so I need to have the space. When I was in Baja, Mexico a couple years ago, I met a couple that I cooked with on the beach, and we did some pop-up restaurants, and I cooked for, most people I would say I cooked for was about 20 people in here. And I was doing an Indian thali, which is basically a couple of main meal dishes and then a ton of different little sides. So I'm pretty impressed with just having about 3 pots and pans and an Instapot that I was able to pull that off. But I love entertaining and cooking for people, so I can get a lot done in a small space. I am also writing a cookbook, so that's kind of the culmination of, you know, all the years that I was in the kitchen. The cookbook will be out next year, and it's just, you know, a lot of my Puerto Rican roots kind of enmeshed with all the, you know, places I've been that have inspired these recipes. So I'm really excited to see where that takes me next. On the roof, I have LED lights that run down underneath the kitchen and on the ceiling, so that way I can see, I can swivel them from the bedroom to the kitchen depending on where I'm at. I also have the Max Air fan, so I keep this up when I'm cooking. Since the oven's right here, it's really great to have ventilation and be able to pull that out and keep a cool breeze going between the door being open and the fan being on. So that's the kitchen space, and I'm going to show you the rest of the van. So this is the living room and dining room. Above this cabinet, I hold my toiletries and stuff like that for my hair and toothbrush and toothpaste. And then here I have a bench both sides, and they also both have storage underneath. I also have my composting toilet here. Lift this up and got my toilet, and no one will know. So love that feature. So when I want to shower, I either go to a Planet Fitness, or I also have a 12-volt shower that we can set up outside, so it's more readily available for when the weather is nice. I put about 3 liters of water in it, and I can take a 15-minute hot shower by boiling some water. So it's been great. So between washing my dishes and cooking, drinking water, and showering, I have 40 gallons of fresh water in the back underneath the bed, and then a SureFlow pump that pumps it up. So I can go, at this point on my own, about 2.5 weeks off of that with everything. So along with the living room is the dining room. So all I have to do is pull the table out here. It slides in and out. If I pull it out far enough, I can put a little stand down, and then that way 4 people can eat comfortably. Underneath that is my dog den. So I have one of my dogs with my wife who travels in my wife's van, but I did have my dog Bear with me. He just passed about a month ago, so I am just transitioning through that, trying to figure out what to do with that space next. I imagine that it will become more kitchen storage as I'm kind of doing some more of my own catering and stuff to come in the future. And then above that, I have this really neat feature. It's just another knick-knack drawer that we built kind of at the last minute, but it's been great. We had a little bit of space in between the bed, and so I can store my lights for my LEDs and some incense and things like that stay here. And then on this side is the bookshelf. What we do is we can't hold a lot of books. We go to a lot of like free libraries and then kind of switch them out. It also holds some of my Oracle decks and tarot. I've just gotten into that a little bit lately, and also my candles and things like that, as well as my main recipe books for cooking. So this is the bedroom. It is a full-size queen bed that is 6-inch memory foam with a topper. I love it. We just got it a couple years ago. Also above that are my 2 cabinets that I have for all of my clothes. So I'm able to hold literally everything except for a couple of winter clothes here on both ends. And then on this side, we added this little feature. So I've got these little pull-up side tables, if you will, that we added, that we absolutely love. And that way I can put a drink on there. This is like a little night light or my book reading light. Another feature underneath my closet, if you will, is just a pull-out table that we added to put my laptop, and that way if we're watching a movie or whatever, then I can set it up there. or have drinks. Also over here, I love what we did with this feature. This is also some more reclaimed wood like on the partition at the front, and we just stained that and kind of made a mosaic of it for the doors just to bring in the cabiny feel and add a little bit more of an interesting element to all the other wood. We also love the windows. We added this RV window that opens so I get a little bit more of a breeze, because before it was just the permanent window, and we like to open the doors and back up to all the scenes and do the Instagram van life kind of living. It's been lovely. I think getting into this life, you know, you're stepping into the unknown, and that's something that I always found comfort in, and I was able to kind of take what I felt lost in and like gain that power back and find myself on the road. This life has allowed me to really step into myself in a way that I don't think I ever could have had living the, you know, regular American dream.
Thanks for watching this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you soon with another unique home tour.